Hello there, my name is Dave. I'm the owner of the Immaculate Inspection, and today we're going to be doing an inspection on a property in Manitou Springs, Colorado. I'm a certified professional inspector with InterNACHI, have been for about 7 years now. So the way this works is we basically start on the exterior, work our way to the interior, looking at everything we can, looking at all the systems. So that's what we're going to do today. Basically what we do is we start with elevation shots, go all the way around the property so that we make sure we document the whole property. So we use an iPad to capture everything through our Spectora app, which is our inspection software. Other tools that we're going to be using today, obviously flashlights and drills and all that good stuff to, go through the whole property and make sure that we get everything done. Okay, now that we've done the elevation shots, we're going to start inspecting the exterior. So first we're going to be looking at these exterior AC units. This is part of the HVAC system. And so a little difficult to do on this property, but we'll see what we can do. So today, for our safety, we are not going to be jumping this fence to go on there to really look at these, but just kind of looking at the AC units out here to check for any obvious signs of problems. The labels are not giving me any information on how old they are, so I'm going to mark up that they might be old. And looking at the foam and stuff, that probably should be replaced. It's looking a little deteriorated, so that's the insulation for the AC lines. For the inspector's safety, we never jump over fences or jump onto other people's roofs, things like that. So in a situation like this, Manitou's always fun with interesting situations with houses. So in this particular case, we're gonna not go for our safety. When it comes to documentation for the HVAC system, we typically just put in the age of the unit if we can figure it out. Here I cannot, so unable to determine, and then also who makes it and things like that. So just basically documentation of the systems for the client's information. So I'm going to do a video on this one just to kind of help my clients understand why I can't get over here, and because they're not here today. So here we are at the side of the house with the AC units on there. Because of this fence here, we're not going to be able to get a clear look at everything. I do recommend having these evaluated by a qualified HVAC contractor and serviced, and make sure that everything's in good shape. Repairs or replacement may be necessary. We can't tell how old they are because I can't get to the full-on label and all that. The AC units are typically good for about 8 to 15 years, so it could be beyond that, and the service technician should be able to tell them that. So now we're moving on to just regular exterior stuff here. So we kind of marked down what the house is built out of. So it's a wood frame built house, and we've got these composition engineered wood panels, or wood boards basically, for the covering. There is no driveway, there's no garage, so that's good. Walkways, we've got concrete, we've got dirt, and a little bit of gravel. And the front door was a solid core door. So siding here, looks like we've got some paint that's starting to fail here, so we're going to mark up finish failing in some areas. And we are on the east elevation, so I'm going to mark up where this is on the property. Do a little more of that. Try and get a representative sample, so I usually do about 2 pictures per side of the exterior. That's also on the east elevation. Anywhere where materials come together should have caulk, so where wood meets wood, for example. More caulk needs up here. Okay. Elevated areas and stairs should always have handrails that are secure. These are clearly not. So what I like to do is a video on that to show exactly how loose those are. Here we are on the east elevation. Guardrails and handrails are a bit loose. Recommend having these tightened up for safety. For safety purposes, I mean, if a handrail is loose, obviously somebody could put their weight on it and it could collapse on them and fall. So that's a safety concern there. And then these types of patio / stairs should always have a good finish on them to protect from any rot or anything like that. So we're gonna mark up that the finish could be redone for that. So that's here on the east elevation as well. And using an awl, we're gonna check the wood to see if we got any rot anywhere. And we do have a little bit of rot in the stairs, so we'll mark that up. Looking at the structure underneath to see how it's looking, make sure it's connected properly. We got the proper ledger board. It does look like it's constructed properly, safe. The only thing is we got some soil here at the posts, so we'll mark that up. It doesn't appear to be rotted down here though. We're in good shape. So now we're gonna check the water pressure in the property. And so we just use a water pressure meter and on the spigot, usually out on the exterior, and turn it on, see what we got going on. So we're looking at just above 40 psi, so anything between 40 and 80 is typically where you want to see it. So up in the vent up here, we've got evidence of some nesting. Looks like insect of some sort. There's some nests up there, so we'll get that. We're going to be looking at the slope of the property to make sure that the grading is sufficient to keep water running away. So should be not sloping towards the foundation. The soil should be sloping away from the foundation. So here, kind of looks like we are kind of sloping towards the foundation a little bit underneath this little lip. So we'll mark that up, have them take a look at that. Okay, so any elevated areas that have more than 3 feet, typically you want to have a safety guardrail. So the guardrail is missing here on the north elevation. We'll get that in there. And then all handrails, it's kind of the same thing. So we'll kind of lump that all together. All right, here on the north elevation, you see the wire here is loose, and this should be protected either in a conduit against the building. It is just a cable wire, but it seems to be wrapped around the electrical main as well. So I do recommend having this evaluated and terminated properly. So these composition wood boards should have caulk in between them as well. So we're gonna mark that up as well. So these wood boards need to be protected from moisture intrusion. So paint and caulk is a regular thing that needs to be done, or that should be done. So anytime we have this type of siding, we have a little blurb in here about what type of siding it is and how to protect it so that it doesn't have a lot of deterioration. So when this material soaks up water, it starts to expand and deform, and that's at that point it needs to be replaced. But at this point, we're looking like we're in pretty decent shape as far as the siding is concerned. I'm not seeing any areas of major deformity. All right, so I just want to let the clients know where their electrical panel is. So it's on the exterior of the building, on the north elevation. And then the type of service is overhead, so that's coming from above. So mark that up. We are looking at a 120/240 voltage and a 125 amp panel. And the main breaker is located at the top of the service panel. We're working with circuit breakers on this panel. And we'll get to the inside here in a moment. The grounding wires. Not seeing any grounding wires, so, oh, yes I do. So that's going off and into the crawl space, so it's probably been grounded in the soil, but it's not visible. And, all right, take a little system review picture for our records. And get the amperage in there for them. Next, we'll open up the panel. In here, we are working with copper service entrance wires, copper along the bus bar and the breakers. Not seeing anything doubled up. Nothing doubled up there. Everything looking pretty standard here inside the electrical main panel. Yeah, nothing to report in here. A little dirty in here. That could be cleaned out, but not the end of the world. And the finish is still failing here in some areas. All right. All right, handrails are a little loose. Here we are on the north elevation. Handrails here are just a little bit loose. Looks like we got some fasteners that are starting to come out there, so I recommend having all that tightened back up. Look at these guys. That one seems fine, and that one seems fine. Okay, so we got some stone veneer here as well on the exterior. I'll mark that up. And some cracks in the stone here where that could get some mortar repairs. Yeah, minor to moderate. It's like some form of a crawl space here. Just take a look. Probably come back and do this later on. Oh, look at that. All right. So we got a gas meter in here. So that's under plumbing and laundry. We'll mark up that that is in the crawl space, is where the location is. And get a little stock photo for the buyers. There we go. Gas lines look to be, yep, decent shape. No corrosion, anything like that. Looks to be good. looking down here. So it looks like the access to the crawl space is down there in the middle. We'll get to that a little later. They're storing a little bit of firewood here by the exterior. It's a conducive condition for insects and things getting into the house, wood destroying insects. So we'll mark that up for them. Looks like we got some water leaking through the patio here. So looks like it's some rotted wood and stuff up there. So it's gonna be hard to get to. Typical Manitou house, but definitely mark that up so they can have that evaluated. Sometimes in inspections, it's important to write up that there are some safety concerns. So due to the type of build here and the way this is, we can't really get up here to this side of the house. So we're gonna look at it from down here, but do recommend having proper access so this side of the property can be fully inspected. Okay, here we are on the west elevation. Just want to get a video of this so you can kind of see. There is water dripping out from the patio, so whatever's going on here, there's a probably melting snow, something like that. Looks like we're missing gutters up here as well, so that might be all related to snow melt and coming down here, which is creating a situation where the patio is deteriorating due to water damage. I'm gonna keep on some of this exterior stuff here. So more finish failing here on the west side of the property, west elevation. And looks like the gutter's missing below and the gutters are missing up here as well. So we'll mark that up as well. So it looks like we have a shed style roof going on. Estimated year looks pretty new. BuildFacts told me it's 2021, so mark that up. Shed style, these are composition shingles and no gutters. There is adequate ventilation on the sides, and we're traversing the roof today. So let's see what we got. There's a skylight up here as well. I'm going to look at that. Hey, here we are at the roof. Roof was most recently done in 2021 per BuildFacts, and no deterioration noticeable in the shingles. Looks to be in pretty decent shape. Skylight here looks to be in decent shape. Vents have a little bit of corrosion on them. We'll get that in the report there for you. In general maintenance on the roof, always a good idea to have your trees trimmed back so they're not knocking against the roof in a storm. So we'll get that in there for you. They're just overhanging though, they're not in contact with the roof, so there we go. Okay. Okay, soffits look good here. Not seeing any signs of deterioration. Paint failing again. Mark that up. Yeah, we got some caulk issues and possibly some siding. Let's see here. Oh yeah, siding's a little deteriorated there. So a little bit rotted, we'll get that. It's relatively minor though. We'll get that in there. On the west elevation. Caulk there missing, and some more caulk under here. Oh. Okay, here on the upper patio, west elevation, guardrails here on the patio, pretty wobbly. I'm going to recommend having those tightened up for safety. And we're going to recommend refinishing these as well. West elevation. A little bit of rot here in the railing as well, so we get that in there. Okay. Yeah, down here as well. Not really rotted, just deteriorating. All right, looking good. We can go inside. We're set at 65. Put it up about 10 degrees. Give us enough time to evaluate the system. All right, open up the HVAC panel here and see what we're working with. Okay, here we are at the HVAC system. This is made by York and it is a 1992 model. These are typically good for about 15 to 20 years. We are beyond that at this point. Our gas detector here is not detecting any unburned fuel anywhere. That's always a good thing.
Carbon monoxide here is reading as 0, so that's always a good thing. Nice blue flames back in there.
Your filter gets changed out in this compartment here. It was nice and clean. There are fresh air intakes for proper combustion. Okay, so up in here, second floor hallway has a utility room. So I've got the HVAC system up in here, the furnace, and there's it's basically an attic space. So we inspected the attic. There's a couple things there with paper facing on the insulation that is exposed. That's flammable. And then the HVAC system is aging, so it's almost 30 years. Actually, it is 30 years old. So those are typically good for 15 to 20 years. So we got that marked up. And there's a little bit of nesting going on up in here as well. Looks like some insects got in at some point and built a nest. So we'll mark all that stuff up. All right, so here we are at the water heater. Water heater has insulated permanently installed jacket on it. A couple things with that. One, it makes it difficult for us to evaluate because we can't destroy people's stuff while we're here, right? So we're, can only see what we can see. It's made by Bradford White, but I can't see the label. So I can't tell you how old it is. Looks like it was installed in 2015. So we'll guesstimate right around there. These are good for about 8 to 12 years. So we'll mark up some of that. Little guesstimation symbol, 2015. And Bradford White. I don't know the size of the tank because that's all covered up, so not visible on the size. It is tank, and looks like we got a natural gas supply here, so that's a gas supplied or gas energy source. Water heaters are pretty good at regulating their own temperature. When you have the jacket on there, they can overheat, and so it's a good idea to have an expansion tank installed. We don't have one of those either, so we're gonna mark that up. And that just helps control the drainage of the pressure of the system. So, and got I assume a pressure relief valve here somewhere, but I can't see it. I don't see, there it is on this side. And that's coming down and draining here to the drain, so that's good. A little water staining below, we'll get that in there. For what I can see, water stains. All right, so we'll inspect what we can. No corrosion on the fittings. For what I can see on the tank, I'm not seeing any corrosion, so that's good. Gas lines, no corrosion there. Other than that, we got the flue going up and out, and that all looks good. So here at the water heater, this has a permanently installed insulated jacket, so I cannot see the label and tell you how old it is. It does appear to be right around 2015. These are good for about 8 to 12 years, so we're getting up there, but not there yet. I want to monitor for things like corrosion on the fittings, corrosion on the tank. Don't see any of these things. Water staining below, I do. This could be from a previous install or the pressure relief valve, which is over there, which drains almost to the drain. The flue goes up and out and has proper flashing. No expansion tank installed. That's it. And check the heat output. I usually do one per floor and to make sure. So we're at 108. That's a good temperature. Anything over 100 and less than 130. It's firing properly. We'll go downstairs and check down there. So second output, I use another meter that's going to show me carbon dioxide output, the air temperature, as well as moisture in the air. 510 on the carbon dioxide emission, that's good. Anything below 1,000 really is not too bad. We'll get a picture of that. Now that I got the major systems mostly complete, I still haven't found the water shutoff yet, but we'll figure that out when we find it, most likely down in the crawl space, but we'll be looking for that. So I start on the interior rooms and kind of just walk all the way around. Door locks are functioning. Lights on, lights on, lights on. Looks like we got some lights out there on the patio. And this light out here is functioning. So, no doorbell on this property. right. Checking for cracks in the walls. I think we got some pretty good checks here in the members in here. Take a look at that. Interior rooms. We'll mark that up, more ceiling and wall cracks. Don't really have anything for interior posts like that, typically. It's more exterior, but we'll mark that up. It could be pretty significant. So handrails here. These handrails should terminate into the wall or into a safety post, because if you catch something here when you're going up the stairs, and you could fall back down. So we'll mark that one up. Got some broken tiles here, so we'll mark those up for the client. All right, so countertop's a little deteriorated. We've got some trim kind of coming apart. Looking for caulk along the backsplash, and there's missing caulk, so we're gonna mark that up here in a moment. Some cracked tiles and things like that, so that's going on. Cabinets, opening all cabinet doors. Spinning these items, make sure everything functions. Looks good. Cabinet doors open and close smoothly, drawers open and close smoothly. Mark up a few things. Turn on the water. I'm going to check plumbing and water temperature. Okay, here we are at the kitchen sink. We've got water running and draining properly. The sprayer comes out, sprays, goes back, and retracts. Down under here, see, we've got a garbage disposal made by Waste King. Plumbing is plastic and dry, no apparent leaks. The dishwasher drain line goes up to what we call a high loop and then into an air gap. I don't see any water damage down here, nothing to report. Water temperature is sitting right around 117, 118, so that's pretty standard. I always want it below 120, so 120 is where it should be. So back here at the sink, make sure the garbage disposal functions. Sounds pretty good. Okay, within 6 feet of all water sources, we want to check for GFCI protection. So there we go. It does trip. So it trips over here, hit the reset. And we'll check all the receptacles around the kitchen to make sure. All trip and all reset. Looking at the first floor bathroom here, we're gonna get the water running. Open this up. We've got an electroreceptor we'll get to. Fan functions. Toilet is a little loose. We'll get that in the report. Do the video real quick. So here we are on the first floor bathroom. Water is running and draining properly. There's a individual stopper here which does prevent water from going down the drain, which is that, so that functions. Down under here, plumbing, all plastic, all dry, no apparent leaks. Toilet is here, flushes, and it is a little loose. Again, within 6 feet. Always want to make sure we have GFCI protection, water sources. That's it. Okay, here we are at the washer and dryer. There's no catch pan installed. Catch pans help prevent water from destroying the finished floor. So we'll get that in there. And looks like they could use a cleaning behind the dryer system as well. The dryer duct is going vertically, and it's also not a straight rigid pipe, so this can cause problems with getting the exhaust out. We'll get that in there. So always a good idea to have it going vertical or down for the exhaust duct. We'll get that in the report form. Let's see, this material. Yeah, fine. Okay, so these both appear functional. Okay, here we are at the washer and dryer. You can hear the washer going and see that the water is going, so that appears functional. You can hear the dryer as well, see it spinning inside. Both appear functional at the time of inspection. Recommend cleaning behind the dryer. All right, we're good in here. Door locks are functioning. Door closes. Right in here is functional. Electrical is functioning properly. I got an access panel here we'll get into and see what's back there. And that's the water main shutoff. There you go. So, looks like we've got a meter here, so we're on public water system. Water shutoffs, there's the main. This is a pressure valve here that you can change the pressure with. That's your your water meter. So they read that from the exterior of the property, and there's a secondary shutoff over here. So just kind of mark up a few things so the clients know where their water shutoff is. Kind of a weird spot. So just give them that information. It is public, copper service entrance, copper supply piping. The vent piping on this was cast iron. We saw that up on the roof. And drain pipes so far have been plastic, and I have not seen the waste pipe yet, so at the moment it's not visible. Hopefully down in the crawl space we'll get a look at that. And we'll get a shot of the water shutoff here for them, so they know what that looks like. Now I'm going to leave this open, so we'll thermal image this area later, and I'll close this up later. Okay, here we are at the main stairway, and guardrails, handrails, a little loose here. We're gonna check them all, might as well while we're here. So I do recommend having these all evaluated, tightened up for safety. These guardrails here are also climbable. As you see, you can use these as steps. So you get children that climb up and then fall over. We'll get that marked up as well for safety. Receptacle, wired properly. So here's another elevated area with no guardrail. So we're gonna mark this up as safety as well. Someone could fall off the edge of this pretty easy. And that one's wired properly. And this receptacle wired properly. I think we got some trim coming apart here. Get that in there as well. Trim damage, dining room. All right, AC units, it's a little too cool out today to be running those, so I'm just gonna mark up that we can't operate those today, as it's under 65 degrees today. That is a danger of burning out the compressor, so that's a limitation of the day. So these are a little different for AC units. These operate independently without the HVAC system, so they do have compressors outside, but the compressor goes straight to the unit and it works in conjunction. So, but again, we can't operate those today. And we do have some cracks in the ceiling and the walls over here, so we'll get those in the report. They're pretty minor. I don't believe that's structural related. All right, moving on. The receptacle. That guy is wired properly. Open and close. Open and close. Oh, no cracks. A little dirty. I don't believe that's moisture in between the panes though. Screens have some holes in them. Mark those up. Okay. Operates properly. Windows, again, looking good. Operates properly. Okay, this guy's a little blocked, but I think we can probably do this. Screen functions, door functions properly. All the locks are working. I'm gonna step out here and check out this patio. Okay, coming out to check out the patio. So notice we got the one light on, and these three are not functioning, so we'll get that in the report. Under exterior electrical, light fixture inoperable. Checking guardrails. These are a little wobbly as well. We'll get that in there. Safety. Okay, here we are at the west elevation first floor patio, and we are wobbly on here as well. Recommend having that all tightened up for safety. All right, continuing on. So you got a window here. Doesn't open, it's just a solid window. No cracks, looks good. Light at the top of the stairs works. Hallway. Some more cracks in the walls. Okay, get the light on, get the fan running. Closes. Lock works. Door's a little scratched up. Get that in the report. Okay, well, they've left us a ladder here. We're going to try that. Let's see if this. Okay. Let's see what we got up here. It's just like a storage closet area. Oh, there's a light. Okay, light functions. Not really much to see up here. It's just like a little closet. Fine. Okay. Broken electrical cover plate. Those cover plates help prevent fire from getting out of the electrical box, so we'll mark that up. All right. Okay, a lot of stored items in here as well. Okay, looks good. Lights out here are functional, good. Screen door, it's had some repairs to it, but it's got some holes in it. We'll get that in there. Okay, so the guardrails here on this patio are also climbable. So we're going to mark that up as well. So that's on the west elevation out here on the second floor. Okay, got smoke alarms in the bedrooms. That's good. All right. In here. Okay. Another smoke alarm. Looks like these are dual system first alert, so that's smoke and carbon monoxide alarm. That's good. Wired properly. Open and close. More holes in the screens. Get that. We're in the bathroom. Fan is running. It's good. Oops. Check the electrical. Perfect. Trips and resets. Cabinets are a little deteriorated there. We'll get that in there. Okay, here we are in the second floor bathroom. We've got water running and draining properly at the sink. There's a stopper that does not function properly, does not prevent water from going down the drain. So we'll get that in the report. Down under here, the drain is plastic and dry, no apparent leaks. Shower here is showering. Appears to be draining properly. Toilet flushes. And it is a little loose. We'll get that in the report. Hot water, good. It's a clawfoot tub, so these things are pretty sturdy. We'll use a thermal imaging camera a little later to see if there's any active moisture, but it does look to be dry. And typically with the roof just being redone, they're going to have caulked that, so any previous leaks probably were taken care of at that point. You got cracks in the ceiling here too, in the walls. All right, done in here. So we're gonna start the dishwasher here. Start, turn on burners and stuff. Okay, lights are, we're missing a light here. Got the fan going. Make sure there's nothing in here so we can turn the oven on. Bake. 250. Get that going. Sometimes these gas burners need a little help to turn on. And we'll do our carbon monoxide detector again and our gas detector. Make sure we don't have anything there. And we'll let that run for a minute. So we'll check on the dishwasher here while we're waiting for that to get going. So here we are at the dishwasher. As you can see, the digital display is on. Kind of hard to hear, it's a little quiet, but when we open it up, you see there is water inside. So it does appear functional. I'm gonna let that continue running. Over here, we've got 5 burners all firing here at the range. 0 carbon monoxide emissions, so that's good. That green light does indicate no detected unburned fuel. So it does appear that everything here is burning properly. Turn these off. Up above, you can hear the vent fan on. This goes on medium and low and off altogether. The light is on. We're missing a light here. We'll get that in the report. And it goes kind of low and then off as well. Up above, you really want to see this exhausting to the exterior, but it does appear to be, because there's nothing coming out. So there's probably there is an exhaust vent on the outside. I remember seeing that. So it does exhaust to the exterior. Okay. Moving on. There we go. Check the refrigerator. The refrigerator is cooling and it is freezing. That's good. All right, let's see how old these guys are. So 2016 on that guy. Frigidaire, GE. Let's see how old this guy is. 2016. Excellent. So appears like these are not that old. It's always a good thing. Appliances usually last about 10 years. So 2016, 6 years ago, they've got some time left on that. I'm gonna wait till the oven heats up and we'll check the temperature output there. All the other appliances are functioning just fine. I'm not gonna run the microwave because it's not permanently installed. I'll leave that guy there to remind me to check the oven and turn it off. So thermal imaging camera to kind of show you. Will show me when there are wet spots. So you see, you don't see anything now. Give that a few seconds to cool, and it'll show up just like a lake. So check the dishwasher, so you make sure that's not leaking below. Check the refrigerator, make sure that's not running hot. Appears fine. And then you're gonna scan the entire property, looking for any abnormalities, anything that shows up that looks odd will help us. And so start to notice the blue on there, and that's getting colder. Water's always going to show up colder once it has a chance to cool down. Get the water main shut off, make sure no leaks are there. Come here into the bathroom, check under the sink, check the toilet, make sure the washing machine's not leaking, and the water supply for the laundry, if you can get to it, just barely. So checking in the walls to make sure there's no leaks wherever there's water. Okay. And we're got a little water down here, so we'll mark that up as well. Current water intrusion. Looks like we got a secondary door down there. We're gonna have to open with a pulley, looks like. Cool. Okay. That should keep that open for me. Good. All right, and here we go. Looking for animals, anything for danger. Make sure there's nothing in here that's gonna hurt me. No electrical, some wires down there, but it looks like they're using that for support. So nothing electrical that can get me. Oh, and this is the electrical grounding. So I couldn't find that before. Looks like grounding is going into concrete, so that's good. It's an electrode in concrete for the grounding. All right, here we go. So we've got no vapor barrier. Vapor barrier protects the property from moisture and other vapors. So we're going to recommend installing that. Got lots of rigid foam insulation, or not rigid, sprayed in foam insulation down here. Plumbing, we've got gas lines, all look to be in good shape. And plastic drain lines for the waste material. Some stored items down here in plastic bins, all good. So just a couple things to write up. Take the broiler, well over 500, we're good there. Get that turned off, and that's it. Okay, again, my name is Dave, and this inspection was done by the Immaculate inspection today. So do check back to InterNACHI for any additional videos and training that you would like to follow up on. Today's inspection, we did a lot. There's a lot going on in this property, but the main focus is what we call the red items. So we had some potential for mold, so we recommend that mold evaluation. We had some safety concerns like loose handrails, guardrails, climbable handrails, all that type of stuff. And then some electrical concerns as well with things, you know, wires that aren't terminated properly and are just kind of left loose to hang that could become a problem and a danger. So all in all, you know, house is old, so old homes have old home problems, but this house is in pretty good shape for its age. And yeah, that's about all we got for you today. Thanks for watching.